Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into Instagram advertising costs. Are those sponsored posts really worth your hard-earned budget?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. There's a lot of hype around Instagram ads, but we're here to cut through that and give you the information you need.
Exactly. We want to empower you to make smart, informed decisions about your Instagram ad spending.
So let's jump right into it. One thing that often trips people up is that there's no fixed price tag on Instagram ads.
Yeah, it's not like buying a billboard where you pay a set fee and that's it.
Right. Your costs can vary widely depending on a bunch of factors. It's almost like planning a road trip, actually.
Oh, I like that analogy. How so?
Well, think about it. The cost of a road trip depends heavily on your destination, right? A weekend getaway to a nearby town is going to be way cheaper than a cross-country adventure.
That makes sense.
It's the same with Instagram ads. You need to define your destination, your ad objective. What are you hoping to achieve with your ads?
Are you looking for a quick boost in brand visibility, or are you laser focused on driving sales?
Exactly. And just like that cross-country road trip, targeting sales is often more expensive. You're aiming for those big city lights, that higher level of engagement.
And a higher return, hopefully.
You got it. And just like packing more friends into your car for that road trip adds to the cost, your target audience plays a huge role too.
The bigger the audience, the more expensive it's going to be.
Well, not always. It's more about how specific your audience is. Trying to reach a niche market, like, say, vintage record collectors, is going to be more costly than casting a wider net.
Because you're essentially hiring a specialized tour guide to reach that unique audience.
Precisely. And speaking of reaching the right people, another factor is ad placement, where your ads actually show up on Instagram.
Right. You've got stories, the main feed, even the Explore tab, each with its own vibe and costs.
Exactly. It's like choosing between a billboard on a busy highway or a local town notice board. Each will reach a different audience at a different price point. And hey, we all know timing is everything, right? Like, try booking a last-minute flight during a holiday week. Your wallet will feel that pain.
Yeah, you're definitely going to pay a premium for those peak times.
Exactly. And Instagram ads are no different. If you're trying to grab attention during peak shopping seasons or major events, get ready for those ad costs to jump up a bit.
Makes sense, everyone's fighting for the same eyeballs.
Exactly. So we've covered how your ad objective, audience placement, and even the time of year all play into your Instagram ad costs. But how does this actually work in the real world?
Right, let's get down to some actual examples.
Our source material had some great case studies, and one that stood out to me was this startup fashion brand. They were on a pretty tight budget, only had like $50 a day to play with, and their main goal, boost those online sales.
Relatable, right. I feel like everyone's trying to crack that code.
Totally. But here's the thing. Even with that limited budget, they made some serious waves. Their secret weapon, hyper-targeted campaigns. They honed in on their ideal customer women, 18 to 34, living in major cities.
It's like putting your message right on their phone screens, no wasted reach.
And get this, they managed to snag $1.50 cost per click, saw a nice bump in sales too. It goes to show you don't always need a massive budget to see a return on Instagram.
It's about strategy, not just spending big.
100%. Now let's switch gears to a different scenario. We've got a tech company launching a brand new app, and their goal was all about driving those conversions. You know, app downloads, in-app purchases, the works.
Okay, so a bit more of a high-stakes game.
Right. And they were prepared to invest to reach those goals. Their target, tech enthusiasts, professionals, the kind of folks who are always on the cutting edge. Now, this demographic, it tends to be a bit pricier to connect with.
They've probably got a lot of demands on their attention, tougher to break through.
Totally. So their strategy involved a blend of those in-feed ads and the attention-grabbing stories format, all with those strong, clear calls to action, like download now, that kind of thing.
Got to be bold to stand out, right?
Exactly. Now, their cost per acquisition, it landed around $3, so definitely higher than our fashion brand friends.
Makes you wonder, was it worth it for them?
That's the key question, right? But in this case, it seems like the juice was worth the squeeze. They were attracting high-quality leads, the kind more likely to actually become paying customers.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between cost and customer value.
You nailed it. Two very different businesses, different goals, budgets, target audiences, yet they both found their groove on Instagram. It's kind of inspiring, right?
Yeah.
It really shows that Instagram advertising can be effective no matter what you're selling or who you're trying to reach.
Absolutely. It's not just for those big companies with bottomless budgets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it does take some finesse, which brings us to optimization.
Love it. It's not just about throwing money at Instagram, it's about making those dollars count.
100%. It's about strategy. And one of the most powerful strategies in your arsenal is targeting. It's all about making sure your message is seen by the right people, those who are most likely to actually care about what you're offering.
Think of it like you wouldn't advertise, I don't know, vegan shoes at a rodeo.
Well, exactly. Talk about a waste of everyone's time and energy.
And the beauty is Instagram gives you these incredible tools to get super specific with your targeting. You can hone in on demographics, interests, behaviors, all sorts of things.
You really can get granular with it.
You really can. It's all about minimizing that wasted ad spend, ensuring that you're reaching the people who are most likely to convert. But listen, targeting is just one piece of the puzzle. What else can we do to really maximize those ad campaigns?
Okay, I'm all ears. Spill the secrets.
All right, so first off, don't be afraid to experiment. Test out different ad formats, play around with your visuals, tweak that messaging, see what resonates best with your audience. It's like trying on different outfits, right? You want to find the one that makes you feel confident and turns heads.
Ooh, I like that analogy. So it's all about finding your brand's best look on Instagram.
Exactly. And hey, speaking of making a good first impression, don't skimp on the creative stuff. High quality visuals, engaging copy, that's what's going to grab people's attention in those precious few seconds. Think about it. A bland, boring ad, it's like that dish at a potluck that nobody touches. Sad. You want your ad to be the one everyone's buzzing about.
So true. You want to be the life of the Instagram party.
Exactly. And last but not least, don't just set those campaigns live and forget about them. You got to keep an eye on how they're performing, track those metrics, make adjustments along the way.
So it's an ongoing process, not a one and done kind of deal.
Precisely. It's like sailing a ship. You got to constantly adjust those sails based on the wind and the waves to make sure you're headed in the right direction.
So as we wrap up, what's the big takeaway for our listeners today? What do we really want them to remember about Instagram advertising costs?
I think the biggest thing is it might seem overwhelming at first, all those factors, but they're not impossible to navigate.
It's all about knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Understanding what goes into those costs.
Exactly. And the beauty is once you have that knowledge, you can leverage it to your advantage. You can make smart decisions about your budget, your targeting, your ad creative, all of it.
And remember, those case studies we talked about, they prove it's possible. Whether you're a small biz on a budget or a tech company with big goals, you can make Instagram work for you.
And that's what we want for all of you. Success on your own terms.
So there you have it, folks. Instagram advertising costs demystified. Now it's your turn. What story will your brand tell on Instagram?